Welcome back to another episode of the Highlight Reel. We have a special guest today. This has been a long time coming. We have the immaculate, the talented, the beautiful, the interesting, the captivating Rikki Lee. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm
Good.
so great. This has been a long time coming.
It has been.
Yes.
It has been.
It's mainly been my fault. I'll say that. The first time we were supposed to shoot, I ended up getting like sick that day.
Yeah.
Sick in a way I'm never sick. So like I was sorry about that. But I'm glad that we are able to do it today.
Me too. I'm glad we worked it all out. I'd love to see how far all of this has come. So
Likewise. And we're definitely going to talk about how far you've come with everything that you're doing. Because obviously, we're in Women's History Month.
yes.
And I definitely wanted to make sure that you were one of the women that was highlighted this month because I think that you've been doing a lot of very interesting things. A lot of people, I would say you have a nice following on Instagram and social media, and a lot of people tune into what you do. And I see you as a peer, but I also kind of look up to you and stuff you do because I'm trying to get to that. I'm trying to get to that level. So first off, just tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Rikki Lee, also known as That Girl. About 2 years, I know it's so weird saying that and I hate doing it, but that's what I'm known as. A couple years ago, I went on a journey to becoming that girl, but like the best version of myself. It was very public. I shared the daily habits that I had, things that I was doing to really just unlock that next level. And a lot of people appreciated my vulnerability and like me showcasing my process. And from then on, I just really started capitalizing off of that journey. And I decided that I wanted to teach other women to do the same. And so I started my own podcast called That Girl Radio. It's a weekly supplement to help other women live and not only live, but also design their best life. And it's just been a whirlwind. But outside of influencer stuff, I also own my own digital marketing agency. I started it back in 2019. And since then, I've served a variety of clients. I've worked with Columbus City Schools all the way to nonprofits, to different solopreneurs to really help them with their branding. And yeah, you can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. YouTube is really where everything started, but I'm sure we'll get into all of that throughout today's episode.
Where are you from?
I'm from Cincinnati.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Walnut Hills.
Walnut Hills in the building.
Okay.
Yes.
Best
we
high
both
school.
went to the same high school.
Yeah.
Yes. Man, we have so much to get into because, like I said, there's so much that you do, and I have questions for you all the time. And I've seen the people that tune into your stuff in the community that you're building. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, I need to be learning from Rikki, man. So I said, let's go ahead and do this today. So, all right, you go to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what are you studying at Ohio State?
I study business marketing, and then I have double minors in professional writing and entrepreneurship and innovation.
Animation?
Entrepreneurship and innovation.
Oh, I was about to say, like, Rikki, what else we got going on? Okay, so what made you want to study all of those things together?
So in high school, I started doing like brand management work for a nonprofit. And from doing that and also having my own YouTube channel, I had a knack for like digital marketing. I had figured out how to make graphics. I had also learned how to use a camera. And all of those things kind of set me up for wanting to either go down the journalism, PR, or marketing track. Now, funny enough, I loved PR. I went to
journalism.
Yeah, I went to the University of Cincinnati my senior year of high school. I did College Credit Plus. So I was there on campus like a whole college student.
Yeah.
And I took a PR class, a marketing class, and a journalism class. I loved the journalism and the PR classes. Hated the marketing one. It was really boring. But for whatever reason, when I decided to apply to Ohio State, I chose like digital. It was like something digital communications was my major at first, the summer prior to me coming. Then I decided randomly that I was going to be a business major, and I switched to marketing. And it's my biggest regret to this day because I just hate business school. But my minors keep me full because I get to write all of the time in my professional writing courses, and I'll do all types of writing, which is really fun. And then in my entrepreneurship and innovation class, I'm learning how to scale my own business and like develop products and stuff. So it's really cool.
You don't really like business like that?
I love being in business. Like being an entrepreneur is very sticky because people love the glamorous parts of it, right? Like being able to have your own car, you know, buy all the flashy things. But like doing business in and of itself, when you know the ins and outs of it, having to, you know, acquire capital, having to have a P&L, like having to figure out what types of people are essential for your team, doing accounting, like doing your taxes, like all of that. And then not on top of that, supply chain management, if you actually have a product, like we had to learn all of that in business school, and it was very boring to me.
See, it's interesting that you say it's boring and that you aren't the most fond of it, because when I think of you, that's one of the first things I think about is business, right?
Yes.
And it seems like you thrive in that. I mean, all right, business, entrepreneurship, you know, you do some influencer things too. So you've had your own business since you were how old?
16.
Okay, 16. So still in high school. Some people aren't even thinking about business or anything like that till they get to college. So you were already doing that. And then even still in college, having a major, 2 minors, and everything else that you have going on, and you're seeming to make it all thrive and make it all work. So when I hear you say that you don't like it so much, I'm actually thoroughly
You're shocked.
Very shocked.
And it's shocking to me as well. I think it's mainly because of the way my school has framed business for us, because it's very separate from entrepreneurship and innovation. Like I want to be an entrepreneurial business person. That's very different from the typical business school structure. They teach you how to work for someone else.
Okay.
Right? So you're learning about supply chain management. You're learning about stats. You're learning about accounting, finance. And like, this is very boring stuff. I never on the day-to-day do I want to be looking at spreadsheets and coming up with slideshows to show them like, okay, we're in the red or we're not. Like, and that's what business really is. So I thrive in the marketing, the PR, the storytelling aspect of it, and the community building aspect of it. But they don't teach you so much of that while you're in school. So
if you haven't been taught that, how are you doing that so well? If you're not even being taught that.
Right.
Because that's why, okay, let me break it down. You're already doing these things, and I'm thinking that you're learning them in school, but you're not learning them. You're not learning them in school, and you're not really feeling that aspect, but you already do it. So how is it that it's just confusing when I hear it? I'm like, you don't like it, but you already know how to do it. I think for me, I've always just been like a student of life. And so I really allow everything around me to teach me. I'm not just waiting for the lesson in class to be like, okay, this is how you do it. I go out and I look for learning experiences for myself. And so I've always been curious. So at 16, I saw myself being a brand manager. So I just texted up my friend. I'm like, can I be y'all brand manager? For Soul Bros? For Soul Bros, yeah. And so ever since, from that point on, every single thing that I've seen for myself that I wanted, I went out and I sought out an opportunity to learn that thing and then perfect it. Okay, so it sounds like you're eager to do that. Are you never scared to do those kinds of things? I think initially, of course, like who wants to be rejected? I think it takes a lot of courage and bravery to like cold call, email, or like message someone asking for something. But you miss 100% of the shots that you don't shoot. Bars. You really do. Bars. And so I'm just like, I was just looking at this LinkedIn post and it said what did it say? It was something about like the admission fee to like what you want is embarrassment, or it was something along those lines. Okay. And so it's just like, kind of get where that's going. Yeah. It's I'm really butchering it, but it makes me think of basically something similar to that where you could say, or maybe not similar, but I feel like it is. basically the life you want is going to cost you the life you have.
Right.
Like everything that you want is going to cost you everything.
Exactly.
And you have to give it everything in order to get it.
Exactly. And I feel like I give everything, my everything, because I don't want to remain the same. Like I want something different. I want to be able to constantly evolve and take it to the next level. And so you may see me doing something now, but next year it's somewhere else. It's taken up a notch.
You said see me doing something now and then maybe doing something different after that. So does that, I don't know, do you ever feel like, not flighty, but does that ever make you feel like I can't just stick with one thing? Because I know you're multi-talented.
It's not necessarily that I'm flighty or like I move from thing to thing, but I'm saying I'm never doing something the same way that I've done it. I'm always perfecting it and making it better. So you may see me doing it now, but in a year's time or however long I give myself, it's going to be to the next level. Because I'm just like, I'm constantly wanting to just take it to the next level. I can't, like I told you with my podcast, I was so eager to take it to the next level. And that's one thing that I struggle with because sometimes it's not time.
What you mean?
Sometimes it's not.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's not time to take it to the next level. Sometimes you got to sit where you are.
I hate hearing that.
Right?
I hate hearing that, man.
I mean, we all hate hearing it because we all want the beautiful podcast setup with $1,000 cameras and $1,000 worth of equipment and just the beautiful sound. But it's like, this is part of the process.
Right. But okay. So you said like, we all want those different things, right? This is me being transparent. Me as the podcast and everything. I don't even have all that. Right. I don't even have all that. But I'm not trying to be what am I trying to say? It seems like with what you were saying, right, you're waiting on perfect conditions to start something. Whereas me, I'm going to progressively work with what I have until it gets to that point. And I think that is what makes it better. You have to kind of dive into it. And so I've seen a lot of people say, you just have to start and perfect it as you go.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people are trying to be perfect before they start.
And then this is the weird thing though. I'll start something. One thing, I'm good for starting something and I will perfect it as I go, but I will be kind of reluctant to scale it or like share it in the magnitude that I want to because I don't feel like it's ready to be shared. You get what I'm saying? I'll start it. Like for instance, my podcast started it. I shared the podcast art, but I was waiting for like the equipment and like figuring out how to edit and stuff like that. So it took me a few months to then finally put out my first episode. Did that, got some good feedback. So then I was like, okay, we'll start doing it a little bit more consistently now. But I think I was waiting for the proceeds first before putting in the work. And I know that's backwards.
Right.
But a lot of times you start something and you think you should be instantly rewarded because you put in all this work. And it's like, I need the thousands of views. And it's like, it's not going to happen.
And that's why I think it's important to just start. Because I was just talking about this recently in another episode, but it builds like thick skin. Because you'll think, I was going to get all this, then you don't. Now what? Are you going to keep going or are you going to stop? Because I know for me, I know that the reward when it gets to where I want it to get to is going to be beautiful. And then I feel like people will feel like they were along for the ride as well, because some people just want to go viral and then just go from there. Yes, going viral helps. But let's say you go viral for one video and then you have no content around that.
Exactly.
People have nothing else to see that shows that this is what you do.
Exactly.
I feel like I've been starting to get traction within the last couple of weeks with some things because I collaborate with people, do things like that. But it seems like, people are starting to slowly catch on. Slowly. The slowest burn. I'm going to be honest. The slowest burn.
But that's like the best. That is the best.
Yes, but it's like even I still wanted to just pop. But I do think that this is where you kind of build, it builds your resilience, your perseverance, your persistence, all these different things, because it does take some time. It does take some time.
And at this point, you've cultivated a very unique sound an expectation from your audience because you've put in the work. Whereas if someone was to put something out, go viral, they feel like, okay, that is the expectation. Whatever the content was for this viral piece, I have to now, dedicate all of my work to that, when it was like, that wasn't your original intent, So you have to be very, very careful of allowing like vanity metrics to like sway or guide your strategy in business.
That's hard. Because, you want to keep blinders on and just do the work that you need to do. But you also feel like, well, if I'm paying attention to the numbers, this is what the people like. This is what people don't like. But even getting stuck in that, you might get caught up in what they want and trying to make sure that you put the best product forward for what people might need. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But I got to get on you a little bit. So you said, you put the work in, right? And things are flourishing, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where's the video podcast, Rikki?
Where are they?
Yes, where is it? You've posted like 3 clips. Yeah. Them things popped and nothing.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So I am big on ROI. Now that I am stretched in a lot of different areas, I have to be very intentional about where I invest my time. And investing in video at this point, especially with how busy my schedule is, and I film in natural daylight. So there's only a small portion of time that I have the perfect lighting in this apartment to get those
perfect
clips.
Okay, stopping you.
Oh yeah, okay.
I heard
but
it.
I mean, let's be real. If my videos were super dark and it looked crazy, I don't think that they would reach people and they would impact people. But it just it just, for whatever reason, Instagram doesn't push videos like that.
Oh, you think?
I think so.
Did your videos not get pushed?
They did, but they had good lighting.
Okay.
Right. And the
maybe they were happy to see you.
Maybe. You're right.
You gotta test it out to find out, Rikki.
You're right. I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna just do like a whatever video and I'm gonna throw it up and we'll see what happens. Because I hear what you're saying and I really do.
Look, the clips I saw, I was like, oh, let's go.
I know.
Finally.
I know.
Because I did so many episodes without video. Then I started doing video. And I think that people want to see you. People want to see you. And it's also cool when you can give them a choice of whether to listen to you or whether to watch you. But you already do YouTube content.
I know.
Which is video. So when so many people listen to you, you don't think that they wouldn't mind looking at you? They might say, that girl, I want to be like that girl. I would like to dress like that. I would like to have a house that looks like that.
Yeah, that is very true. I just think
I know I got bars for you.
You do have bars for me, but let me explain for the listeners. So I told y'all I have to be intentional about where I invest my time, right?
Yes.
And as of right now, I am stretched extremely thin with school. I'm taking 19 and a half credit hours. I also have an internship that I have to do twice a week.
Yes.
And then I also have clients with my business. So I have to do all of that first and then do content creation. And so I want to make it as easy as possible for myself to be consistent. Because when I was doing the videos, I was having to like pre-plan a lot of content. It put a lot of pressure on me to communicate with the producer for the audio. I was also working with an editor for the social clips. We decided on, I think, 2 to 3 clips per episode. So I wasn't even producing an entire video. I was just doing social clips. Exactly. So,
oh, come on. Really?
Yeah, I was like recording a whole video, but I was getting back only a few clips because that was my trial era. I was basically trying to see if it was worth the investment for me to hire a full-blown editor and producer for the podcast, if it was time yet. And I got good metrics back, but I had set a goal for myself of how many listens or, downloads I wanted. And it didn't get to that point. And I'm like, the metrics look the exact same as when I didn't have video. So the people are listening to me regardless if there's video or not. So maybe it's not time for me to make that investment.
Okay. I would say here's the difference. You would say the metrics were the same, but you've been doing one thing for almost 2 years, right? And then there's this other thing that you didn't even do for probably 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's fair. It wasn't a long enough of a trial period, I guess.
Okay, so as long as you're hearing me.
I'm hearing you. So I'm going to do my homework. I actually ordered another chair. And I'm going to put it in this little corner and we're going to get busy. Like, I'm going to do the content.
And what you going to do about a mic? You said something about a mic, I think.
Yeah, I need to. And I guess I need to be forking up a lot of money.
Yeah. No.
But.
So what's crazy is, I would say the way I do my podcast is not, I mean, yes, I put some money into the stuff that I have now, but you saw me set everything up. I just pull up and we shoot. Right. And I feel like the way I'm doing it isn't even extremely expensive. So I'm very sure that you could do this. It's just, I know because you keep bringing it up and it is fair. You are doing a lot. There is a lot that you have going on. You are a senior in college, in clubs, and 19 and a half credit hours, you said. So I do understand. I just, from a friend and peer podcaster, I see a lot of potential for you.
Right.
And I think that you got something there. I'm just saying.
Right. And I hear you. And I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to produce some videos for the pod. You guys will see it. So make sure you tap in. But it's something about waiting for my moment. And I feel like my moment is not now. Waiting
for your moment.
I feel like feel like my calling right now is consistency, and consistency is what I can commit to is pulling up that microphone and sitting in my bed wherever I am and just recording, editing it down and getting it up.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at
the metrics are like, they're increasing because I'm consistent. Yes. When I pull out that camera and I'm doing the video and I'm doing all that holds me back because that's even more that I got to do to make it happen, to put it out.
Just press and record.
I gotta get ready, Jariah.
Oh yeah,
I gotta get myself ready. I prepare show notes. I'm a little different than you. I don't always do episodes with other people to help the conversation flow. So I have to have show notes. It's like a lot that goes into the behind the scenes of my episodes. So it's like to take off that mental burden of an added thing of like me making it look good is like all they gotta do is listen. That's like my video in the dark. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just like I pull up, I can put that in my bedroom. I'm laying in my bed and I just record an episode.
Okay. I hear you. I'm going to encourage you.
And I'm taking the encouragement.
I do see huge potential for what it could become as well. Because again, as a fellow podcaster, I think it was cool that when you started your podcast, mine wasn't out yet, but I knew it was coming. I was in the process of working on it because you started one, another one of my friends started one, and then I started one. I said, okay, I see a few people getting into podcasting. And it's just cool because you basically, this is like my baby. I love podcasting. I love talking to people, but this came from, in college, I had a radio show.
Right, and it was great.
Yeah, I love doing that. But after I graduated, I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep doing music with my stuff. So I said, how would I do something similar? And I was thinking, not a podcast, but then I saw a program for like this podcast accelerator program. And they helped me start my podcast. And ever since then, I've been rolling. And because once I started, I said, dang, this is kind of easy for me because it's easier for me to show up and do it. So I'm guessing you have a lot of things that you have started, but That Girl Radio, how do you feel? Baby. That's your baby?
That's my baby.
Why would
that's
you say
the
that?
Thing that I feel the most proud about. I'm proud of my YouTube. And that's another thing. I do YouTube videos. That takes like 8 to 10 hours to edit. Days, like that's another video aspect thing. And then you got to think my Instagram reels and my TikToks, like I'm editing all the time, even if I'm not doing my podcast. So this is like one low maintenance thing that I get to do and show up for my people, and they love it. Yeah, they love it so much. They love to hear me ramble about like how much I love Jesus. Yes, and all the things that I'm going through in my life. And it's just a way for me to connect with people. And I'm just so excited now that I'm having guests on my podcast, other women hearing their story about how they became that girl respectfully. And it's just such a beautiful garden that we've like cultivated in this space together. And so I'm just excited to see that a lot of the work I've been doing, because I haven't been paid a red dime.
Me neither.
From this, you know, like, but you invest so much because you know at the end of the day, you see light at the end of the tunnel, you know?
Yes.
And even if I never made another, like if I made no money from this, I would be fine because it's just so invaluable.
I agree. See, we here.
We're here.
Because I think it's just very cool the community that you can build, and I see it as another form of networking.
Exactly.
Because then I shoot with people, and I've been telling people we end up being cool after that. Because now I can tap you for an opportunity, I can tap you for a question, or I can just reach out and just say, "What's up? How you been?" Because we talked to each other for about an hour and got to know each other. But That Girl Radio, I love it. I think when it first came out, I don't know. I get very excited about the stuff that you do, but the podcasting, and then because I had a radio show, I said this is about to be dope. So respectfully, why would you call yourself That Girl?
Why would I? That's a good question. I would say I am because I am an extremely resilient and constantly progressing woman. And I don't feel like you just become that girl overnight. I didn't just say like, "Oh, I'm that girl." And and just like acquired a bunch of material things to make me look like I have it together. I really had to do a lot of work to get here. I've overcome a lot of different things in my life, and I still rise, you know, every single day to the occasion. I show up for not only myself, but other people. And so I feel like respectfully, that's what makes me that girl. And also to be that girl is to be God's girl first and foremost. And I am God's girl. Like he is at the center of literally everything that I do. I try to share him with as many people as I know, because, you know, the world needs more love and God is love.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's why. Why would you say I'm that girl?
Well,
or do you even think I'm that girl?
No. No, so like I said, I've seen you do a lot of stuff. We went to high school together. We didn't really know each other in high school, but I knew of you.
Yeah.
And then I think after I graduated, or while I was in college, I think I started to see some of the things you started to do, and I was thinking, bro, who is this girl? And what's all this? It's all these different things that you do, and I think I admire how you kind of have the agency to kind of just act on these things and make something happen, because I'm 24 and you're younger than me. So when I see you do these different things, it also shows me I could have done that, you know, or I could have maybe tried if I knew and maybe did the work. But we've also been exposed to different things. We live different lives. We come from different backgrounds.
Right.
But the things that I see you do inspire me because I see that you follow many of your interests and passions. Because you said journalism. I was like, I don't know if I see you in journalism, but I've seen other talents that would show me, well, I mean, why not? It's like, so when I see people doing or following so many of their passions, I think that's inspiring because it shows people, you know, you don't have to niche down or just follow this one thing. If it fulfills you to do all these different things, then why not do those? Because I like to speak. I like to rap or whatever, whether I'm good at it or not.
You are.
Thanks. I like to sing as well. I feel like people don't know that, which is funny. Some people don't. But I like dancing. I'm into a bunch of different things. So when people follow their passions and the many of them that they have, I think that inspires others to say, okay, I can express myself in these many different areas and still make something from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you said journalism, PR, and well, you study business now. The PR I can see with you being an influencer, and then matter of fact, doing a podcast, because I just was talking to somebody on my last episode about journalism and podcasting, and I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm like, what's the difference? Because you talk to people and you can kind of get the news by speaking to these people.
Right.
If I speak to those important people and ask them the same questions, but I'm on my podcast and I can say some stuff that you can't, which one is really
journalism.
Yeah. So, but I could see that interest play out because you have a podcast, right?
Yeah.
So just having all these different interests is very, I think it speaks to people because people feel like they got that one thing, and you might, but I'm pretty sure you probably got like at least 3 things that you like to really do.
Yeah.
And you want to follow them in some way, whether one pays you, one does not, and this other one is just fun. It's good to be able to have those and be able to flesh those out.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, like, I always battle with this internally. Like, do I exchange my gifts for money? You know? Because I've been there and I've been burnt out. I've allowed people to burn me out because they saw that I had a gift and they were willing to pay me to do something, but it wasn't how I should have been using the gift. You get what I'm saying? So I have been very selective now. I am very protective of how I use my gifts and what instances I allow them to be used, because people will take advantage and then you will walk away from your gift and never be able to do it in the way in which it could have been a blessing to people, because, you know, people made you think that it had to feel like work. Like once it starts to feel like work,
yeah,
I need to step away. But my podcast, because I just pull out that mic, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like an organic, like I'm just picking up the phone and calling my girlfriend and just like, girl, let me tell you.
You're not going to get me to not try to. Like,
He's like, you can pull up and call the phone and get the video. Yeah.
I mean, I think now that I've seen some of the equipment that you've been using and whatnot, and I see, you know, you see what I've been using, there are, let's just say, I'll say that there are tweaks I could see you make that would help you even more.
Exactly.
But I want to get back to That Girl Radio real quick. So something that I've honestly wanted to ask you for a while, which is kind of funny, is so you call it That Girl Radio, but what about, you know, the guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm always thinking, you know, that girl.
That guy.
That guy, yeah.
I feel like I would love more than anything at some point, if it became like an actual show, which is what I want it to be, like to get picked up by some sort of network or like Every Stylish Girl, just some black platform like Refinery 29 Unbothered. That's a black platform. They got picked up. Speaking that, putting that into the universe.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have like a male co-host. So we can, you know, level
keep
out the
boy
playing
in mind.
field. I'm gonna keep it in mind for sure. To have that, you know, that nice balance of perspectives, because I think it's invaluable to hear, especially what another black man has to say, especially on certain topics. So having him insert his thoughts here and there, and then obviously other guests. But I'm not, it's not like anti-men.
No, I didn't want it to come off as me asking it like that. Or, you know, what about us? Like, we need input too on your thing. That's not what I knew it could come off like that. But I was just wondering, I think that would be a very interesting idea if you know, talk to guys about certain things. But I know that, you know, ladies flock to That Girl Radio. I just thought that would be an interesting idea. And it was honestly, I kid you not, just a silly thought. Because I was saying, okay, That Girl Radio, what about that guy? I mean, you know, what would that be like?
And then, you know, like when I meet someone, and I've met a lot of phenomenal men who I feel like are that guy, I feel like it is my duty to give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying? And my podcast should be that platform to give you your flowers, because there's not a lot of spaces that will, especially when you're not on a level to be like on a Forbes 30 under 30 list just yet, or, you know, you're not making music, so you're not at the Grammys or stuff like that. Like, where do you get celebrated? So I want my podcast to be that place. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because I have to...
Just saying, another opportunity. That'd be interesting. But since you said that you want your podcast to end up becoming a show, like an actual show to get picked up by a network or something like that, it made me think about some of the experience that you've already had at some big platforms as far as hosting and different things like that. What was that experience like? And do you feel like that has helped you to become better at, you know, being a content creator and better at, you know, doing your podcast since you're speaking consistently?
I think it's the other way around, because I've been doing podcasting and content creating for years. Since I was 13, I've been content creating.
Okay.
And then the podcast since I was 19. So it's really interesting how sitting in front of a camera and repeating yourself over and over again can really prepare you for public speaking. But it just comes so naturally to me at this point because I can BS, and it's kind of easy because I've done that so many times in front of my camera, and you kind of just learn how to get the filler words out, how to just keep a conversation flowing and whatnot. So I've done a couple of red carpet experiences, actually a few. I did one for African Night. I did one for the Alphas pageant. And then I also did this recently, a pink carpet at the Give That Girl the Mic celebration. And I also did some speaking on the stage.
Give That Girl the Mic?
Mm-hmm. Very
That's
interesting.
Hilarious.
Right?
When you think about that.
Give that girl the mic.
Uh-huh.
I was like, it was destined, but it was a beautiful event for young girls. Tons of like talent. There was over 20 different performers, and it was like big groups of young girls aged like 7 all the way up to 18. And it was just a very empowering event. And for me to be there as the host was like crazy. But to answer your question,
fitting, ain't it?
It's very fitting, but it was just like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Like I needed that when I was younger. So to be that for them in that space, it was like beautiful. I was crying in the dressing room because a song that I had performed my freshman year in a pageant actually was playing. Like another talent there was doing it. And I was just like, this is crazy. This is full circle.
Yeah. You was like, this was meant to be.
Yeah.
Wow. What are some of the hardships that you experienced though, as far as like getting these opportunities and trying to make everything work?
I would say like just getting out of my own head, because it's never been an instance where I tried to get an opportunity like actively. It's been a lot of like just things being in alignment, God just bringing opportunities to me. And I think because I magnify so much what I like to do and what I do, people are just like, okay, she's a marketing girl or she's a host girl. Like I'm just very big, loud, and proud about certain things that I like to do. I do a lot of stuff, but the stuff I don't like to do, I'm not sharing it because I don't want to do it again. But the stuff that I really like to do.
Smart. Yeah. Okay.
But the stuff I really like to do, I'm going to make a moment out of it. So when you think about another moment like this, you think to call me. Yeah.
That is some good, marketing work? Like that makes sense, because a lot of people will complain about what they don't like when you could really just continue to pour into the things you do like. So when people say, because I think that's happening to me now a little bit. People know I love doing this. They know that. So when they think of a podcaster, like when my friends think of me and they think I'm a podcaster, that feels so good. It's like, yes. That's why when I talk to my other podcaster friends, I'm always like, or if I have a friend that starts one or something like that, I'm thinking, if you got questions, hit me up. I've been doing this. If I can save you some time, please let me help you, because
I love that.
I run into some walls doing this thing.
Yeah.
But what was I about to ask you? So, man, it's just so much that you do that it's so much that I'd be wanting to explore, because I think like fear has to come in at some point, maybe. Yeah. When you're doing all these different things. Because you're thinking, okay, or imposter syndrome. That's the one. That's the one. Because again, you can see yourself in so many places. You start thinking, what is for me? Which one am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be doing all of these? Will that burn me out? Because I go back and forth with that. I want to do so much. And I don't mind burning myself out sometimes, which is probably, it's not good. It's not good
to burn yourself out now.
But I'm hard-headed in that aspect. When people say, you have to have a balance, and I think I saw you had an episode around this, and you were talking about balance. I always struggle with talking about balance, because I think for you to get exceeding results in a certain area, how are you going to not put more energy into that thing and have balance still?
I think, and this is going back to what you were telling me to do. You and let me readjust so I can get
Okay.
into this. So I think that everything has a season. You get what I'm saying? Like everything, if you look at even the best shows, right? Love is Blind, The Challenge. If you think of BMF or Raising Kanan, they have seasons. They have a season where they're showing the work, and they have a season when they're doing the work. You get what I'm saying? It's not 24/7 all of the year grinding. They have an on season and an off season. And I myself have been trying to build out an editorial calendar for myself that puts me in a space where I am on in one area, off in another, on in this area, off in another, to train my audience to be like, okay, we're on right now for That Girl Radio. This is how I tap into Rikki. Okay, we're off season right now on this. Now we're on YouTube. We're off season on this. Now we're on whatever else I choose to do. But it's like training people to realize that you are not a horse. Like you don't just work all the time. You have times when you need to rest. We have to honor sabbatical seasons to recharge. So you can't expect to be able to do all things at all times. And I'm speaking to myself because I've done that. I've tried to do YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and a podcast all at the same time. And I am my own team. I don't have a management team. I don't have, an editor, a producer.
Which is crazy because I would think you do.
Right. You would think that I do, but
yes.
I'm a full-time college student. I'm sitting in classrooms from 8 to 6 p.m. 3 times a week. And I'm doing an internship.
Insane.
And I have, there's just so many different things that I have to do. And I have the same 24 hours as everyone else. So you have to partition what your focus is on for certain parts of the year.
Okay. You have valid points. I think what has been my fear or my reservation behind rest and breaks is maybe if I feel like I can take a break or I can rest, maybe that seems arrogant in a way. Maybe like follow me. All right.
Okay.
So if I'm trying to build something and I take a break from it, like I'm trying to be this big star. Let's just say I'm trying to be a huge star. What time you got to break? To rest?
I get that. Like I feel you on that because I see where you're going. It's like, how can you feel like you've earned the rest when you haven't done the work? But let me say this. You can only go so far running full throttle. Like at some point you have to stop and slow down. And you have to figure out what that looks like. Okay, maybe you're not running full speed for 3 weeks at a time. Maybe it's a couple weeks. And then finding out what are the low maintenance ways I can show up that still pushes the needle forward, but it's not burning me out. Like you don't have to record a full episode 7 days a week. You can do it 3 days a week. Time manage well, prepare, use other days. It's still, you're showing up for your business. You're not taking extreme rest, laying down, being lazy, but you're preparing, you're making show notes, you're reaching out to more people, scheduling more episodes. You're still doing work for the business, but it's not the extremely hard work.
Yeah. The other part of it is maybe the fear of being forgotten. Maybe that's maybe that's a little too deep. I don't know.
It's deep, but it's no one's going to forget you.
Okay.
If anything, they're going to be like, where you at?
So, okay. Let's say you were off of social media for a week, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, you didn't check it at all. Mm-hmm. You are going to feel like you are out of the loop, right? So let's say you take, because I'm kind of speaking from experience. I remember when I did my last episode for my first season of the podcast, I made a decision. I said, I'm going to take a break to make sure that the next time you see the podcast, it's better. Right. Now, you can say that's me doing the work. That's the season of me doing the work. You saw the work, and then the next season was me doing the work. But in that time, what I had built and what I had going could be forgotten because I remember I stopped in August. You didn't see my podcast again until January.
But it's
and in that time, you could be forgotten. And there's so much work that you might have to do to catch back up.
I don't think so.
You don't think?
I feel it's same thing with shows. we can't forget, especially if you're consistent. It's quality over quantity. You don't have to show up every day for people to know you, as long as you're showing up the same. You have the same energy when you come back, it's going to pick up like it never left, because it's the same thing with relationships. You don't feel like if you don't speak to your friend for a month that you have this fear of being forgotten. They could never forget you because they feel you. Every time they interact with you, it's consistent. It's
you have that relationship, but you have that relationship with them, though.
You built that relationship with the people who are meant to perceive you. The people who are following you, they know you. So when you come back, it's like, oh my God, he's back and he's better. So you can't worry about, because I think what you're considering is people who haven't even encountered your page yet.
Okay, maybe.
Why are we worried about them?
Because I would say
they can't forget you if they don't know you.
Good point. I was gonna say, and as soon as I was gonna say it, I feel like I was gonna be wrong. But I was gonna say that's where the opportunity is. But there's plenty of opportunity in the people in your circle and the people that are aware of you. I think that's probably something that I feel like that's something a lot of people maybe deal with. They, you take a break. It's like people have a hard time getting off of social media.
But like, think of this. Okay. Do you know anything about Kylie Jenner?
A little.
Okay.
Maybe.
Have you seen recently that she started a fashion brand? Okay. I'm about to list off all the brands she started in the past 3 months. A fashion brand. Now she's coming out with canned cocktails.
Canned?
Yeah, canned cocktails or something like that.
Wow.
And also a perfume.
Okay.
3 months.
Okay.
It's giving you have a fear of being forgotten, or you have a fear of losing out on funds. And at that point, as your fan base or even people who just perceive you, it's like you're throwing a lot at us all at once. And sometimes it's okay to just go ghost. It's okay for you to not have a new product dropping. It's okay for you to not have a new episode dropping, because sometimes people don't need to perceive you right now.
Okay, so let's say everything you do, you went ghost.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel any kind of way about that?
No.
Not at all?
No. I haven't intentionally gone ghost, but there have been periods of time I have been ghost on my YouTube, and then people DM me every day. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad because I know that sounds crazy. I love y'all.
Yeah.
But I don't feel bad because you can't pressure me into expediting my moment. My moment is not right now. My moment right now is being a student. That I've got to focus on that. You can't make me feel guilty for doing what I have to do for me.
Dang, Rikki.
I'm going to do that first. And then when I'm ready, when I'm back into my creative mode, which I've been in my creative mode the past couple of weeks. So I actually have been editing a couple of vlogs, and I'm excited to return. But it's like people, even with their favorite artists, will be in their DMs and their comments like, where's the music? Where's the music? Where's the music? But you have to realize, for people to create beautiful things, they have to be in a good space. Yes. They have to be in a space where they desire and they like to do the stuff that they're doing. They have to be inspired. And so I'm at a place in my creative journey and also in business where if I don't feel like doing it, it's not even it's not a lack of discipline thing, because I'm disciplined enough to do the things that I'm supposed to do. But it's like, if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel like it's the right moment or the right move, I'm not going to do it. No one can force me to do what I don't think is the right time.
Okay. You just said that you're disciplined, because that's I would say that's like a recurring theme that I have with some of my guests as well. Because I think as young people, we need that, period. We need that. And I think the most successful people are disciplined. Like they know what they need to do, how to do it. They feel like doing it. No, they did it. Exactly. It's like that kind of thing. So, all right. Because you do a lot. And it does seem like you're pretty disciplined in those areas. Do you feel like discipline brings freedom or friction to your life?
I feel like discipline brings more freedom than friction, because, and I was just talking about this on my vlog, you have to be willing to do the hard things so you can live the soft life. Like, so many people want the soft life, but they're not willing to do the hard things. The hard things are getting up on a Sunday and meal prepping in my kitchen. But every single day throughout the week, I thank Sunday Rikki, because I'm like, girl, you set me up for success. Like, I can go throughout my day, la, 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 and not have to worry about what I'm going to eat. And that is like one less decision I have to make throughout the day. I would love more than anything to have a chef. I would love more than anything to have somebody prepare my meals for me fresh 3 times a day. But that's not the season that I'm in right now. Yeah. So I got to get in that kitchen on Sunday for just a few hours and prepare my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner. But that hard thing sets me up to be just in a space of ease and peace throughout the week. I'm not just running all over the place trying to grab foods and try to figure things out. And it just sets me free, you know? Like, I feel like I have the most friction when I don't do the hard things. When I'm just like going willy-nilly through life, because the easier thing for me to do would be to, you know, run to Wendy's or Cane's and grab some food. Like, that's when I feel the most friction, because it shows in my body. It shows in my skin. It shows in my energy levels. Like, you know, like when you don't do the hard things, your life becomes harder and harder and harder. And it's like, you got to choose your heart. You want to be tired every day? Do you not want to achieve your goals? Or do you want to do the hard things now so you can wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, yes. Like, I even went back to setting my clothes out the night before. This is something our parents taught us as kids. Yeah. And it escapes you when you go to college, because you get into the habit of just waking up 15 minutes.
Throw a shirt on, go, yeah.
Something comfortable. But I vowed to myself this year that no matter what the day is, no matter what the occasion is, because my life is the occasion, we're going to get ready. Like, get yourself ready, no matter what. And that has exponentially changed my life, because when I would just roll out of the bed, it was something about what it would make my attitude like. It was just like everything else was like lackadaisical. Like, I roll out of bed, I go into class, I'm like, I don't want to interact with anybody because I'm not showing up as my best self. I don't really want to participate because I look crazy. You know, it's just like, you're just there. You're going through the motions. But when you choose to wake up and like conquer the day and, you know, put that shit on, you're just like, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I will say, in some of the content that I've seen you put out recently, I think you were one of them was like the way you put your perfumes, you kind of like, even doing something as simple as that kind of gets you excited to do certain things. Like, I'm starting to realize the small things really do help, because I grew up basically like my parents had me, of course, didn't stay together, so they both had joint custody, right? Gotcha. So when I would live with my mom, I wouldn't make my bed, because she like wouldn't make me necessarily. My dad would make me make my bed. I hated making my bed. I said, I'm gonna tear this bed up later. Later. Why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this?
But
just to destroy it.
Kind of as you were alluding to earlier, as you get older, some of those small things make it like they make a difference. Because I might not want to make my bed, but if it's made, then I got something done. Woke up, something's done.
Accomplishment.
Cool. And you know, something looks a little better. Exactly.
Because I struggle with that.
Exactly.
Getting back in that bed.
So it's just those small things. I think they're like really playing a big part. And I've seen how that is something that's working out for you. But as we were talking about, you know, doing the hard things, I think that's part of the reason why I feel like there are certain things that I gotta do now, because it's gonna be easier for me to do the harder thing right now when I know I have more energy. I think I'm wired that way, to have more energy. I don't really drink coffee like that. I'll be off the walls anyway. Like I just have energy like that.
You really do.
Yeah, I have energy like that.
He's full of life, y'all.
Exactly. But the way I've been seeing it, because another question that I have for you, and I try to ask people is, you know, whether we should be having fun right now or building a foundation. Because if you have fun right now, ain't that the easy thing to do?
It is.
And then you'll be older. And those same problems that you had, you still have them, because you kind of just did this. But if you build a foundation, or if you're working harder on, you know, your future,
right, then
you'll be able to, like you did with Sunday Rikki, you'll be able to say, thank you, 24-year-old Jariah. I'm so glad that you did that.
Right.
And it's a back and forth that I have, and I think many of us have, because it's like, bro, I wanna make sure that by 30 I'm good, you know. Right. But I also know I will never. Some people say I'll never be this young and fine. You know what I'm saying? Never be this young and fine or whatever. So they want to neglect other things and just live. I understand both. I both, but I'm an extrovert. So I want to be in the mix personally. Right. Personally, I want to be in the mix, but I feel like I've been in the mix enough to know it's time to pack it up. Let's go ahead and get this together. That way, 2 years from now, you could say, whew, if I didn't do what I did these last 2 years, this would be a whole different spot. Exactly. So it's a back and forth. So what would you say is more important right now for you? Let's say, how about that?
Well, let me just preface, I haven't had a lot of fun. So that should tell you what space I'm in. And it's not because I feel I need
What you mean? You haven't had a lot of fun?
I haven't. Not in the past. Since New Year's Eve, I haven't had any fun.
That's recent. I mean, it's March.
I know it's March, but I'm just saying, like, this.
Has that been hard for you?
It has not been hard for me.
Okay. It hasn't been hard for
me because, one, I'm just getting closer with God. And I'm realizing that I crave a different type of fun. Like, I need to start making more of the fun experiences that I crave rather than just trying to find the fun. Because
you cooking right
because the fun that they're offering up right now is not in alignment with like the type of things I need around me. And so to protect my peace, to protect my energy and my purpose, like I really do shelter myself. And I'm just in grind mode right now. And I'm okay with depriving myself of quote unquote fun. It ain't fun. I don't really have fun when I was doing the stuff that I was doing anyway. Okay. So it's just kind of like, I'm fine. Like I really enjoy hanging out with my friends. I will do like a cute little wine night or a happy hour here and there with people. Like I really enjoy small, intimate gatherings where you can really connect with people.
Good point.
And I really enjoy R&B music. So we've gone to Hips. I've seen you at Hips.
Yes.
I have fun there. Yes. But the regular club scene, I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I just don't enjoy that.
I'm with you there.
So me, like cutting out, hitting up hookah spots and stuff like that, that doesn't necessarily feel like I'm deprived or like I'm missing out on something. And I also live in Columbus, Ohio. Like there's not much going on here that's like, I'm missing out. You know?
Say that one more time.
I live in Columbus, Ohio.
And it don't be much to do? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just one.
It's like, it's stuff to do, but it's not what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So but to answer your question, I feel like it's very important at some point to be willing to hold yourself radically responsible for the outcome of your life. It's no one else's fault that I'm in the position that I am today. I actually thank 16-year-old Rikki all the time for putting in the work that she did to get me to the point where I am today. And to my peers back then, it was crazy the stuff that I was doing. It was like, girl, why are you doing that? Like, no one is worrying about that right now. But I get to live the life that I do now because I chose to worry about those things. So it's just a matter of where your focus is and what kind of outcomes you want, because how we spend our days is how we live our life. Like, you know, it's the little decisions you make on the day to day that so many of us choose because we're so young to be so frivolous and careless about certain things. But at the end of the day, that has an effect on you. Whether that's emotionally, like you can carry emotional baggage from the choices that you're making. You can carry financial baggage from the choices that you're making, spiritual baggage. Like take heed and notice of how the things that you're actively choosing to do affect you. And I've been noticing like, okay, when I choose to go to a night out, to the club and drink, like it literally makes my body feel terrible. It's a violent hangover. It's not normal. So I'm not doing that to myself anymore. And I don't even drink like that. But like, I remember I went to Noir. I had one lemon drop. My head was pounding. I went to the hospital. Yes.
I'm trying not to laugh. Sorry.
But that was like, that was the most insane experience I've ever had in my life. But I think I went to Noir and then I went to Aura and I had one shot at Aura and I had that lemon drop at Noir. And I was just like,
how tall are you again?
I'm 4'11".
Oh.
But I'm thicker. So it's like, it
True.
doesn't, so it's not like one drink is going to take me out, you know? So I feel
Until
like,
it do. Okay.
until it does. And then you're like, do I even want to smell liquor?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm just done with that life. And so it's easier for me to make that decision. But for anyone that's like listening, do what's right for you. And you can have balance. Don't deprive yourself of fun and enjoyment because you feel like you have this tunnel vision, because let's remember, tomorrow's not promised. So do integrate the slices of joy into your day-to-day, however way you can. But don't be so caught up on, oh, I'm young, I'm hot, I'm turned. Let me do this now. And then you turn around and it's like, okay, you didn't set yourself up for success at all because you never decided to do the hard things.
Oh, Rikki. Oh my gosh. I think, I don't know when it happens, but I feel like you get to a point where you can start to learn, dang, that thing this person is doing, I could have been doing. For example, a funny example for me now is when I see players go to the NFL and they're younger than me, I be thinking, huh? You 21 looking like this? Oh, I could have done that, you know.
Yeah.
I've even had somebody that we went to high school with, Quentin. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best examples to me. We literally went to the same high school, went to the same college. I didn't run track for Kent, but he did. That right there just showed me, wow, you might have squandered that one, buddy. That's okay though. You know, you can bounce back. It's still plenty of life. Yeah. But don't let your life keep going by. And then you keep saying, I could have been. It's like, well, what are you? What are you actually? So that's why.
And don't allow yourself to be a has-been.
Oh,
let's talk about that. That's my biggest fear, is being a has-been.
That, and for me, it's like unrealized potential, I would say. Because I always feel like I can be something nice, right?
Right.
But I don't want to be looking back and saying, yeah, I could have. Now it's on you, son. I don't want that. Right. I don't want that. I want my son to be able to say, dang, you was a dog.
You did the
most.
What
did you do? What do I need to do?
And how do I feel in those big ass shoes?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
How? Like you expect me to be?
You got some little feet, but
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very little feet, but like, how did you build this big ass heel? Like, so how am I supposed to get into there? You're just like, girl, arise to the occasion.
Exactly. So I do want to talk a little bit about, how do you feel? So with all the different things that you are involved in, how does that kind of give you energy, I guess, with like helping people, or how do you feel like you're helping people with what you do?
I feel like the biggest way that I help people is through my vulnerability and like just sharing a lot of the things that I go through and how I get through it. And that in and of itself has helped so many people, because I didn't realize how unspecial I was. Like a lot of people are going through the same things that I'm going through. Like my life is not that unique. And when I was able to peel back some of the layers of the onion and be like, okay, I'm going to reveal some things about myself to people, because I've been creating content for a long time, but I wasn't willing to share my scars. I wasn't willing to share the tough things and have the tough conversations. But once I opened myself up to that, you know, when I was ready, not because people pressured me to, it was beautiful. It was like I was able to just start sowing the seeds for this space for all of us to grow in. And it's just been beautiful. Like I hear so many wonderful outcomes from all of my listeners about them getting accepted to this or starting that, and like all because they listened to my podcast and it reminded them that they do have a godly purpose. They do have worth. Like it's just so many different things that you don't realize. Some people don't have a village to tell them those things. I was blessed. Everyone's told me I was going to be a star. Everyone's told me that I was special, you know? So hearing that growing up allowed me to believe it. But some people don't hear that. They hear you are nothing. Yeah. You know, you aren't going to do anything. You just like your daddy. You just like your and that's very discouraging. And I heard nothing like that, at least not from my family, from my peers. Now that's what I had to overcome, was like, the people projecting onto me or people reminding me or just trying to belittle me and be like, girl, you are not all of that. And I'm like, I didn't even say I was anything.
If I'm going to be extremely transparent, there have been times where I would say I was jealous of the things I've seen you do. But again, it touches on the things I've seen I could have done. I'm thinking, dang, how is it that you are already doing all of these things? Like it's a blessing I'm sure for you it's a blessing, but sometimes when you feel like that opportunity is passed, it makes you think, bro, what am I missing? What am I lacking? And that I would say is a me problem. Like, of course, that's not a you problem, but that I would say is a real thing. When people see their friends doing big things, you're like, bro, yeah, I'm happy for you, but what in the world? What did I miss?
Right.
What did I miss? And that's where I try to recognize the different backgrounds, the different upbringings, because there are so many things that are different in our life. Like, I'm a man, you're a woman. That's already a huge different thing. So, and there have been times where I had to check myself on that, but I also just translate that into me being more so excited for you, because I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a reason why you got all that. And I know it's stress that comes with it too. So you might not, like, yes, you love what you do, but I'm sure that there are times where you feel pressure. It might not always be fun, but, and again, for the people that didn't get it, well, that's not pressure you got to deal with, right?
Right.
But that's something that people think about. And I know that has been something that I've thought about before. I'm thinking, bro, this... Because I'm the jealous type, whether I got a girlfriend or whatever. You know, just whatever. So when I'm looking, I'm thinking, bro, I wish. But when those things didn't happen, I have to recognize why maybe that didn't happen. And I have to take some accountability and say, it's something I didn't do. There are other factors that contribute to it, but there is definitely something that I didn't do. Right. And that's why I didn't get that. But do you feel... So Pete, you have family that has been speaking and pouring into you. And one of my questions was, do you feel like everything that you've been doing, you were destined for? Because it's the way some of it comes to you. Because I think you've told me about how some opportunities actually come to you. Some people are not. I promise
you, every opportunity has come to me.
Every time I hear you say that, I'm like, that sounds blasphemous. That sounds insane. Because most people, they don't experience that. I mean, not even one opportunity. And you saying every opportunity came to you.
But let me say this. I will not negate the fact that I don't do the work, but I feel like that's the trickle down effect, is that I do the work when something comes to me, so something else is able to come to me because someone's seen the work that I've done. So it's like every blessing that God gives to me, I try my best not to mishandle it. I give it my all because, like I said before, I don't have a team. I don't have management. I don't have an assistant. I don't have any of those things. But I'm grateful for what I do have. And that's a village. And that is a lot of sponsors, a lot of people who speak my name. And when I'm not in the room, because I told you earlier, I'm really willing to boast about the things that I love to do and that I can do. And so in a lot of people's minds, Rikki's the photographer, Rikki's the graphic designer, Rikki's the brand developer. Like, in their minds, I'm their point of reference.
Wow.
And so when it comes to opportunities, it's like, okay, I know somebody. And and I've gotten to a point where a lot of things I have to turn down. I'm like, I don't have time to do that. I love that you thought of me, but let me connect you to this person. I think they would be good for that. And I think...
Should have done it with the podcast. Golly, it's like, nah, you good. Nah, I get you.
I think there's just something about doing the work and being graceful as you're doing it. And that is, I honestly do believe, because I've even had some of my friends, that are very close to me, who ask me questions about what it is that I do. How do I make my money? How do I get opportunities? And it's hard for me to say because, as you said, you asked me if I felt like I was destined to do this. I do feel like I was destined to do this. And when you're called for something, you have to have people around you who know the miracles that God can work. I mean, it's not going to make sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, but because I have such crazy faith and I pray at night and I know what I want and I make it clear and I put it out in the universe, it's like things just come into alignment in ways that I'm like, and I relinquish control a lot of the time. There's a lot of things that I wanted.
Golly, that's hard too. That's hard too.
And I've been like you, Drea, in instances because I have other people that I'm influencer friends with, and I'm like, man, like the amount of work that I'm putting in, and and a lot of things just so happen to happen for them. But have you seen the Risa Tisa series? Mm-mm. It was a 50-part series on her pathologically lying husband.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't. I've heard of it. I didn't really tap into that because I'm thinking it's not my business.
Right.
And this is a lot to sift through. Am I really about to be that invested?
Yeah,
so no.
Yeah, it was a lot. But I brought that up because she was a woman who was so desperate on getting what she wanted that she subjected herself to something that ended up harming her. And so many of us want it to be our moment to have the 1 million viewer podcast, to have the 1 million viewer, platform. And we want to have the business that's making buku amounts of money. But when you are so busy and you have blinders on for what you want, you will end up turning your blessing into a curse because it's not your moment. I keep bringing up to you.
Yes, you do.
I'm waiting for my moment because when you rush things, when you cut corners, when you try to do things the way you saw some X, Y, and Z do it, maybe that's not the blueprint. Like we are so quick to look to someone else's success story as the blueprint for as to how we're supposed to do things. But did we ever ask God, like, how do you want me to do this?
So quick point on that. I actually saw a piece of content on Instagram days ago, and it was a guy saying, you see someone do something and you think that the way they do it is the only way to do it. And he gave an example. He was like, all right, what's 5 plus 5? 10. What's 8 plus 2? 10. What's 7 plus 3? 10. There are an infinite number of ways to get to 10.
Right.
So what makes you think that this result that someone got, that's the only way to do it? Because I think when you think like that, you kind of box yourself in or box other things out, thinking, because I'm not this, I can't do that because I didn't get this or whatever. It's like, no, they were born with that and got to do that, but you were born with this and can maybe still turn into that. So I think that was just something that you saying that brought that forward to me because that kind of opened my eyes. I was thinking, dang, we really do think that there's only a limited amount of ways to get to certain things. But if you're willing to put in the work, there are really an infinite number of ways to get certain results.
Right. And I feel like, and this is what I preach all the time, is like when you're in alignment and you rely on your strengths rather than your weaknesses, which is what I like to call like your superpowers, there's no way that you can't get what you're supposed to because you're not busy walking up in front of people saying, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do that and I don't have that, but can you pick me? It's like,
yeah, you disqualifying yourself.
We disqualify ourselves so much in so many instances, and sometimes we do it subconsciously. You'll be thinking about an opportunity. You may see that there's this sweepstakes for someone to enter into this thing and you can get an accelerator program for something.
Great example.
And you think for yourself, oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't even know if I can write a good enough cover letter to go into here. Like you disqualify yourself on so many levels, not even thinking about who may be in the applicant pool. And you may be the best of the best that decides to apply. And a lot of people have the same amount of resources readily accessible to them as you. We all have YouTube. We all have Google. We all have TikTok. These are huge search engines where you can teach yourself all types of things. And for me, I'm always going to be resourceful. If there is something that I'm lacking, I'm going to figure out a way in which I can figure it out. Or I'm going to
1,000% believe that.
Pray to him to give me the information.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you're resourceful and you do what you need to do, there's no way you can't win.
So where does your confidence come from?
God.
So you would say that has played, basically your faith has played a massive role in your success and kind of how you can stay even keeled through a lot of these different things?
Oh, absolutely. I said this on one of my podcast episodes. I may not be qualified, but if I'm called, that's all that matters. That is all that matters. And so that moves me through everything. There have been so many God ideas that have been planted inside of me. And I'm like, God, how do you expect me to do this? I am not qualified. And he always says, you're called for this. No, don't worry about the qualifications. Don't worry about the applications. Don't worry. I will handle all of that. And something I constantly pray is that God will break all protocol on my behalf. Because if he does that, it doesn't matter what they say that was supposed to be on the application. It doesn't matter what they say was supposed to be the numbers to get into the whatever. I'm getting in because he's making provisions for me. And so I feel like because he's so provisional, because I have so many God, divine appointments in my life, people earthly that are like my living angels that speak my name in rooms that I'm not in. It's like things just come to me miraculously.
I believe it. I believe that. Just like seeing so many of your different endeavors, I'm thinking, bro, it's hard to not say that there's something different with you going on. Mm-hmm. And it's just something to admire and witness. And I still think it's cool to see you as a peer in some ways. Because even though, like when I came in, like I said, I saw your setup and whatnot, I was thinking, oh, shoot, I can actually give you a tip really quick and say, look, you already do this pretty good, but I know you could do this better right here too,
Right.
So, man, I'm so glad that we was able to do this.
Me too.
Finally.
This was nice. This was fun.
Finally. Because you are someone that inspires me, and I can already tell from the community for your podcast, of course, that there are so many women that you continue to inspire. Mm-hmm. And I think that you should, stay encouraged with that because, like I said, this is Women's History Month, and I just wanted to highlight you because on the highlight reel, of course.
Right,
but
right. I love that.
I just think that you do have a gift, several of them, but you are somebody that I think a lot of people probably have their eye on and are keeping an eye out for. Because when I think about a lot of my creator friends, you're definitely one of the people I think about because I've seen so many different opportunities come up for you, and I'm thinking, bro, it's motivational and it's inspiring. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, Rikki, I got some work to do, I guess. Okay.
But it's good to have people that that motivate you. They're like, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah, man.
Let's take it up a notch.
Seriously.
And no, you make me feel like I'm not doing enough. As many episodes you put out, I'm like, whoa, Rikki.
Ooh, boy.
What are you doing?
I
applaud the consistency.
Thank you. I try to be consistent. That's why I tend when I do take a break, I feel off. I'm thinking I'm literally breaking my consistency. Yeah. But I think I'm getting better at saying, okay, I'm going to take a break. Now, I think I had a goal for this year to hit certain numbers, not vanity metrics, but to see if I can actually accomplish these things. But
it's always good to set goals. There's nothing wrong with setting goals.
But it's when I do take those breaks, man, it feels good. It's like, oh my gosh, I just went crazy. Let me get 2 weeks. Let me get something.
Give yourself that. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, Rikki, what are some of the last few things that you would like to say to women out there, guys out there, just people out there that are trying to get to that next point in their lives and are maybe trying to do things similar to how you're doing as far as exploring their passions?
I would say don't limit yourself by any means. Go for the moon. Shoot for the stars. Hell, my dad always tells me heaven is the limit. And that was the best thing he could have ever said to me, because as women, speaking to the women out there, you will encounter a lot of glass ceilings. You will have a lot of barriers set in front of you, especially as a Black woman, that are meant to discourage you from going after your original goal. But I mean, with God by your side, there are so many ways you can knock that barrier down, knock that glass ceiling out, and continue to just reach higher heights. Heaven is the limit for you, my darling. Like, there is nothing that you cannot do, especially when you're called. Don't worry about the qualifications. Don't worry about the applications, the certifications, none of that. Like, God will break protocol on your behalf so that you can fulfill your purpose. And the last thing I'll say is the only way you can become more confident in yourself is through reps. Like, so many of us are nervous to do things because we feel like we don't have enough experience. So get the experience. Go out there and try to do more of what you want to do. The only way you'll know if it's really what you want to do or if you're good at it is by doing it often. And that's how you do it better, is because you put in the reps and you perfect it. So just start now and scale it and just watch it grow, honestly.
Yes, ma'am. All right. You cooked. You cooked in this. I ain't gonna lie to you. Can't hold you. You cooked. You had some bars for sure. I'm glad I was able to drop some bars. You know, I do that anyway, but I quit. But again, I'm so glad that we were able to do this. It's been a long time coming.
Very long.
Hopefully we can do this in the future. Mm-hmm. My podcast, your podcast, something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Rikki, for being a guest on the Highlight Reel. I really appreciate you. And thank you to the listener, the watcher, the commenter of this video, whoever you are. And that's been your episode. Peace out.